Welcome everybody to the 40 Finance channel. My name's Jeff Beers, and today I've got 5 stocks that are not only under $15, but all 5 of them are listed on the NASDAQ, and all 5 of them have PE ratios under 10. As always, this is just a research experiment, me listing some stocks that I find intriguing. And remember guys, just because a stock has a low PE ratio doesn't mean it's going to go up in the future, and there's several other metrics that you need to dig into, like debt ratios, earnings growth, all those things. But what videos like this can do is help inspire you on some other stocks to research depending on your interest level in them when you see them here. So I hope that helps. Let's jump in. All right, first stock on the list today is Sallie Mae, SLM Corporation, known most commonly as Sallie Mae. That is a lender for student loans. They also have savings vehicles for parents to help save for college. Sallie Mae has been in the game for a long time. And you see here that their PE ratio right now is 749. You got a forward PE of 663 and a current stock price of $9.28. Over the past year, Sallie Mae's been sort of up and down. You see here that they were close to $12 over the last 52 weeks, and they sort of had a couple downturns here. But some of this is based in the financial sector as a whole, which has really been hit hard with the interest rates, which are, interest rates are good news for us when they're low, but for banks and lenders, it takes away from their profit margins a little bit. So that could be some of what we're seeing with Sallie Mae on a downturn. However, from a PE ratio and a forward PE ratio that gets even lower, there might be some intrigue to the story. Now, anytime we're looking at stocks under $15, it's not going to be easy to find analysts who track them, because a lot of them just won't even waste their time on it. For Sallie Mae on TipRanks, you have 3 analysts who are following it. 2 of them have buy ratings. 1 has a hold rating. You got a median price target of $14, which is a 50% upside, a low ball of $12, and a high of $16. So there's definitely some money to be made with Sallie Mae if you believe that the market for student loans and the interest rate situation will be beneficial for Sallie Mae in the future. It could be one to dig into. All right, next on our list today is a company, USA Truck, ticker symbol USAK. And USA Truck, like you can probably imagine, is sort of a logistics company. They also own and operate their own vehicles on the roadways, all about delivery here. Looking through USA Truck's company portfolio, it looks like they operate in USA, Mexico, and Canada. And as I mentioned, not only do they handle the logistics portions of delivery, but they also have their own fleet of trucks and drivers to execute on. From a PE ratio standpoint, right now they're at 535, and the forward PE drops to 4.76. We have a current price of $8.18. USA Truck has been as high as $23 in the past 52 weeks. You can see though that it's been a pretty steady downfall, but transports in general are just really down. Transports and financials, you will find some pretty good deals. So if you think about FedEx, they have their own problems, but FedEx is not a bad company. They've been tanking recently. Some of the ship carriers have been tanking recently, and it's just sort of a ho-hum attitude in the transport sector. USA Truck, though, is a smaller company, and there might be some big potential for growth. I think the metrics look pretty good on paper. Let's take a look at what the TipRanks analysts say. Okay, so on TipRanks, USA Trucks, they've only got 1 analyst out of the best performing analysts who follow this one. That particular person put a $13 price target on this. I think, we were in the $850, $860 range, so that's a 58% upside. Now it's only one analyst, so it gets it's sort of hard to be excited about that because you have nothing to compare it to. However, it is a promising sign. If you dig into USA Truck, you like their business objectives, you like which way they're going, might be one to dig into. Next on our list today is the Michaels Company. So ticker symbol MIK. Michaels has a full chain of arts and crafts, sort of mega stores, if you will. You'll see them in a lot of the same strip malls as you'll find like Bed Bath & Beyond, TJ Maxx, Staples, things like that, Dick's Sporting Goods. We have one in our area that my wife, who is a teacher, frequents quite often. So I'm always interested to take a peek at how Michaels is doing. And right now the stock price is at $7.20. The PE comes in at a 361, which is amazing, even for a retail stock. And the forward PE at 295, I mean, this is about as cheap as it's going to get for Michaels. The question is, do you believe in a turnaround story? Because they have tanked quite substantially since this time last year. You had a 52-week range as high as $21, and it's obviously gone down from there. And what I saw with Michaels when I read some headlines is you got some CEO changes, you got some sort of indecision on the marketing strategy and the discount strategy, and then you have some earnings, I think at least one earnings miss this year, which just sort of spooked people. My personal take on Michaels is I love it for the second half of 2019. If it is going to rebound, you start thinking of back to school time with teachers, you start thinking about Christmas decorations, Halloween decorations, all those things. Without me being an expert on Michaels, I would guess that Q3 and Q4 make up a much bigger proportion of their sales for the year than Q1 and Q2. So if you believe Michaels has a turnaround in it, the fundamentals right now, at least from a PE standpoint, look pretty solid. All right, on the Tip Ranks dashboard, you have 4 analysts, and this is probably the most mixed story that I've seen featured on this show anyway. You have 1 buy, 2 holds, and 1 sell. So there's not a lot of confidence from the best performing analysts on Tip Ranks right now when it comes to Michaels. However, from a range standpoint, you got 975 as the median target for those who are buying. You got a high of 15, which is obviously the guy who's buying in, and a low of $7. So even at the low of 7, right, you're talking about 20 cents off or so the share price today. I really think, like, if you play in retail and you feel good about the way you analyze retail businesses, I'd say take a look at Michaels, maybe buy 100 shares for $700, and you know, if I'm right from my bull thesis, then you would see Q3 and Q4 have potential to light this thing back up over $10, $11 if everything goes Michaels' way. All right, number 4 today is Twin Disc Incorporated, ticker symbol TWIN. And with Twin, we got a price right now of $12.88. We have a current PE ratio of 927. Forward PE goes up ever so slightly to 954. And Twin Disc is basically an industrial manufacturer of heavy-duty transmissions for non-highway travel. And you know, I obviously had to dig in there to see what does this all mean. And it comes down to a lot of transmissions for things like cranes, operating equipment, basically anything but cars and trucks. Not the biggest company in the world, but with industrial equipment, you always have the potential for monster sales numbers because every single thing you do is expensive, right? I mean, a transmission on a, let's just say $5 million crane, I mean, how much is that worth? You know, you probably only need to sell, you know, 50 of those units a year to put up some pretty big numbers, and I'm sure that's exactly what Twin Disc does. Looking at their year so far, it's a common theme on these stocks that I found. You started up high at $27.97 this time last year, downward spiral ever since. All I can tell from the news headlines is that they did have a Q1 miss on earnings, but it does seem like there's not a lot of negative swirl. It just came out of a miss, things dropped down, and there was nothing that insinuated Twin Disc was going to have a problem hitting earnings for the rest of the year. But that is one headline that you need to look into if you're thinking about buying this stock. Try to figure out what is the recovery potential in Q3 and Q4. Ideally, it's like a Michaels situation where Q3 and Q4 are traditionally big quarters for them, and you could have a nice bounce back here over the next 6 to 12 months on a cheap stock with good fundamentals. On the tip rank side, again, this is another one where we've only have one analyst who's watching it. Target price is $20. It's a 55% upside. Again, disclaimer, one analyst is not a strong opinion, just like you should never listen to me as the only opinion in the world. But hey, you know what? The PEs check out, right? 52-week range has been as high as $27, so that's a bright side. One analyst says 20 this year, so that's a green check. And that's all I'm trying to do here is filter through stocks, look for those that have some potential green checks next to them. And what you can do from here is like, hey, if you know about hydraulic equipment or transmissions and things like that, and you're like, I know about that stuff, I'm going to dig into this company. That's what we're trying to do here on 40 Finance, is just sort of populate your mind with ideas and educate you about all the different opportunities that are out there with all the different stocks available. All right, last one on the list is near and dear to my heart, Turtle Beach. Coming in at $10.09. Guys, I've bought this stock $17, $16, $15, $14, and I've bought it all the way down, and I'm probably going to pick up 25 more shares or something because it recently dipped under the $10 mark. And but you'll see from the fundamentals, the P ratio right now is 399. The forward P jumps quite a bit to 848, which still isn't high. However, they're taking on the acquisition of a company that makes special gaming keyboards and mice and things that go along with PC gaming. So I'm sure that comes into play a little bit on the forward PE. However, the long story short on Turtle Beach is it skyrocketed in the Fortnite era. It's dipped ever since, as that sort of has not been in the headlines as much. You also had a huge short sale of stock, which put a lot of pressure on the company. But the long-term outlook, in my opinion, for Turtle Beach is very good. It's very promising. I think gaming in general is in a bit of a lull right now. You see it with gaming stocks across the board. I talked about EA last week. Gaming stocks are in a lull. However, Q4 for gaming stocks, when you talk about Christmas and you talk about new platforms coming out in Q1 of 2020, all of a sudden, there could be an opportunity for Turtle Beach. That's what I'm expecting will happen. I'm going to buy it all the way down again. I'll pick up another 25 shares or so at this $10 mark, and then I'm going to sit back and wait for Q4. And if Q4 doesn't establish Turtle Beach, then I know that in Q1, the new video game platforms are coming out in 2020. That's definitely a place you want to be in with these accessory businesses. So I'm a long-term holder. You know, do your own research, form your own opinion, but I like this stock and I like it at this price. Okay, looking at the tip ranks dashboard for Turtle Beach, we got 3 buys across the top performing analysts, median price target of $25.33. That's 150% upside. That's the day that I need to happen. You got a high bar of 26 and a low of 24. So, you know, it's only 3 people. All 3 project over $20. That's exactly what I'm projecting as well. At least $20, if not more. I'm waiting for that day, but every time I buy, I'm another 12 months into this cycle, right? Because I'm a long-term holder. I'm waiting to get past the 10% capital gains tax after you hold a stock for 12 months. So when I buy again next week or whenever it is, I'm adding another 12 months to my term with Turtle Beach unless something just totally explodes. All right, there you have it, guys. That's 5 stocks under $15. all 5 under 10 on the PE category. I had a new camera today. I'm trying a little bit of a new setup, so hopefully everything works out on the editing with this one. But if you like the video, please share it with your friends. Please like the channel. I really do appreciate your support. We'll see you on the next video.